How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Rocky Fern. My name is Luca and I have OI Type 4, and today's exciting. I'm going to be giving you my November favorites and we're going to be picking the winners for the 500 sub giveaway. So let's get into it. Seriously, how cool is this? So it's my first giveaway, so hopefully it goes pretty smooth. I got more of a response than I thought I was gonna get. To be honest, I was low-key kind of stressing, thinking I'm not even gonna get like 5 people interested in the giveaway because it is a pretty small channel. But you guys are awesome, and you guys, we did it. We have more than 10 people who want some plants, hopefully. And so what's gonna happen is I'll go over my November favorites first, and then we'll get into the draw, and I'll be reaching out to the winners via my Instagram messaging, and possibly a couple on YouTube. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but if it doesn't work out, then I'll reach out to the winners and to the people that put in and see if they want any leftover plants. Of course, you guys can reach out to me and request anything that you like, and if I can do it, we can work something out and I'll ship it out to you. But anyway, November favorites. November has been crazy. So November, super rainy. I actually ended up having to cut 3, maybe 4 Hoyas. Just the sheer amount of rain, it ended up causing them to stress and die back a little bit. So I took some emergency cuttings, hope I can save them. Hoya Suluisiana was one of them because they do not like to get overwatered, and we were getting inundated. So hopefully I can turn around Ongo Goblogian. That's the name for the Suluisiana, and I was hoping to do a species profile on that guy when he bloomed. So that's a video in the future. But I have some very cool plants. Most of the plants that I choose for November are plants that I can't keep my eye off of when I walk by them, or something that's blooming. We'll go with kind of a honorable mention, just because it's so fresh into the collection, it seems unfair, but it was a plant that I recently received from Cindy over at Hala Hoya off of Instagram. Again, shout out to Cindy because she's amazing. And it's this guy. It's my Hoya disipulae. And it has new growth, has blossoms on it. And what's so cool about disipulae is the basket shaped blossoms on it. I can't detect a smell, but so far they're staying on strong. I've got several other peduncles. It did abort one peduncle when I first received it, but it's being kept out in ambient temperature, putting out new growth. Nice, beautiful, thin foliage. Kind of looks like a little bit like the shooting star Hoya, multiflora. Kind of looks like a little bit of the platycollis. Just a really thin leaf. Very beautiful Hoya. I love just how nice and simple this growth pattern is. It's kind of like a typical plant growth for a lot of plants, but the flowers, it's so unique. Let me just get in there one more time. So this is the honorable mention. It's kicking butt, and yeah, we'll get into the actual November favorites right now. Okay, so we're gonna stick to Hoyas for the first part. So this has to be, right now, my favorite small-leafed Hoya. It's a very slow-growing Hoya. I have 2 cuttings. This is my most recent cutting. The other one actually hasn't put on any new growth in like 5 months, but this is Hoya Lithophitica, and what I love about this plant, if I can get out of the way and just have you see the sheen on the leaves, there's such a beautiful sheen. Anyway, yeah, there's such a beautiful sheen to these leaves. It's so simple, and yet it's just, it looks like a portal, like a black oily sheen puddle. I don't know, but a very cool Hoya. Lithophitica would mean that it's grown on rocks, and so I do tend to kind of underwater this, but even when I tend to keep it evenly moist, it seems to be just fine. It does enjoy highlight from what I've seen. I've tried low light and highlight, and so far I haven't seen any of the washing out of the leaves. It just maintains this nice rich dark color. And I don't know if it gets any, the internodal spacing gets any tighter on this plant, but so far it's just been about 1.5 inches every time it produces a nude node. A new node, not a nude node. They're all nude, but a new node. Anyway, yeah, so very cool. This is Hoya Lithophitica. All right, so my next favorite is actually 2 Hoyas, but they remind me so much of each other, even though they're not even, you know, they're not the same cultivar or same species or anything, but this is Hoya australis, the Lisa, so it's the variegated form. And I love this because the beautiful red cranberry coloring it gets on new growth. Each leaf pattern, when it's variegated, is so unique. It's so beautiful. Look, this is tricolored. This one back here is beautiful. I really love this one. But every time I see this other Hoya, it always reminds me of a miniature version of the Hoya australis Lisa. And that is the Hoya huscheliana outer variegated Hoya. And the blossoms are completely different. Obviously, the Hoya huscheliana has those bonnet style blossoms. If I can get in there. Has the bonnet style blossoms, and they smell like butterscotch, and I really like it. So this variety, this particular clone is the huscheliana pink form. Even my normal colored huscheliana is the pink. There is a yellow form, which we might get down the line later on, but this is being kept in a homemade pond mix. You know, with the hole drilled out in the pot about an inch above the bottom, create a reservoir, and it's not an overly thirsty plant. I did have it super highlight, so it did have a lot of paler leaf, and so I've recently moved it to some darker or lower lighting, and I'm hoping to bring back some more of the darker color to the leaf, a little bit more chlorophyll, and maybe even get some more variegation. Like this is the most variegated leaf I have. Beautiful. But yeah, it always reminds me of a miniature a miniature australis Lisa, but that's definitely a very cool favorite of mine. And the australis hasn't bloomed yet. Hopefully we'll get there soon, but it hasn't bloomed yet. Let's move to the next one. All right, this next one's a very cool orchid, and I love orchids obviously for their flowers, but I kind of overlook orchids that have just plain green foliage just because my collection is so big that I don't want to add just more plain green, excuse the phrase. I like something that has really ornate leaves just in case the flower's not there, you have something to look at, and this is no different. So this is known as a butterfly orchid. It's Psychopsis oncidium. I think the particular cultivar, I guess, would be the Mendenhall Hildos. I think it's another hybrid between the Mendenhall and Hildos, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so you can see why I love the coloring on this. I do have it in a half coconut husk, and it's growing great. It's got roots that are going way back into the husk fibers. I water it maybe once or twice a week. And what's cool about butterfly orchids is they are sequential bloomers. So they'll have one spike with one blossom on it that could last months and months. And when that flower finally exhausts and dies off, another flower will come and will continuously or sequentially bloom on that same spike for years potentially. So I know I have quite a ways to go before this orchid is big enough to do that, but it's going to be so cool. Another reason they're called butterfly orchids is because they have that long spike, and the flower kind of moves in the wind, and it kind of looks like a fluttering butterfly. So how poetic and how pretty of a scene can you create with an orchid? So that's definitely a November favorite. Every time I look by it, I have to check out the leaves. They're so pretty. I freaking love this. And then this mounting technique I've been using and experimenting with, like on my Discadia cochleata. It's going gangbusters in that. I have a Hoya, what is it called? A Hoya, I can't think. I have another Hoya that I've produced in here, and several other Discadia, and I'm even going to plant some platyceriums this way. Maybe even some of the bigger platyceriums with 2 halves, and then backfill it with some moss and tree fern fiber and whatnot, and then have it grow off the front of that, which I think would look pretty cool. But yeah, so there's the butterfly orchid mounted in a coconut. Okay, and then I think no November favorites or any monthly planty favorite list would be complete without an Anthurium. I didn't have any philodendrons in this one. There are several. I'm gonna wait for the red moon for next month because it's producing a couple new leaves that are looking really good. So this is the Anthurium luxurians. And I love this bullation in the leaves. It is kept in homemade pond, but look how beautiful that new leaf is. And that new leaf is so pretty. Look at that. It's got like an orange bronziness to it. The leaves are getting somewhat big. I do keep it in lower lighting. Yeah, and with all the rain we've had, the anthuriums have kind of taken a hit. So I'm hoping, because of how airy the mix is, and I even keep them in some cloth pots, fabric pots, that they'll be able to bounce back really quickly. But that's Anthurium luxurians, and this is going to complement another anthurium that's producing a new leaf right now. It was on my favorites a couple months ago, so it's not on this month's favorite because it's like a perennial favorite. But I'll grab it right now. And that's the Anthurium papillolaminum. So this is the leaf that I showed last time. I love this green, dark, super dark green velvety leaf with that kind of neon lighter green veination. But this is its newest leaf that's still super fragile. I looked at it the other day and you can see that it got some scarring just from me looking at it. So Anthurium leaves, when they come out, they're super delicate. A lot of people don't even touch them for fear of putting holes in them, but you can see it start out super red, starts to darken up. It has a really beautiful backing to it, that beautiful red color. But this is Anthurium papillolaminum. It's a new leaf, it's kicking butt. I love it. And we got one last plant before we get into the giveaway. And this is my Microsorm thailandicum, known as the blue oil fern. It's producing some beautiful colors to it. Let's see if I can get it in frame here. It's a focus. Super hard to get the blue oily, or the sheen is definitely getting off that oily kind of feel to it. But it's, some of the leaves are forked too, by the way, which I think is so cool. You can kind of see that. This is its first forked leaf that it produced. Very cool, easy plant to grow. I assume these are gonna start dropping in price. I've seen them kind of come down in price, but there's some grains on the back here, and I think it's from, these are fertile fronds here. Come on, focus on the leaf, not my face. See that? So it's starting to produce some spores already. These are immature, of course, but I didn't think a plant this small would start to produce fertile fronds, but it is. So that would be cool. One thing I am going to definitely do is I'm going to get some tree fern spores and some of this Thailandicum spores, and maybe even some of the Metallicum spores when they're available, and moss them out, and hopefully I can start producing a bunch of these. These would be awesome. But the bigger they get, the more oil they get, or the more blue they get. It's a very cool plant. It is thirsty. It is pretty warm in here though, but it does probably twice a week get some water. But yeah, this is definitely an all-time favorite. I'm just trying to show off that sheen and the kind of blue color. When I first got it, it definitely was not as blue as it is now. But as it ages, it just picks up that rich, deep blue color. And yeah, so that's Microsorm thailandicum, blue oil fern, very cool. Let's get into the giveaway. Okay, so the giveaway, very exciting. This is my first one, like I said, and I just am so happy to be here, so happy to share some of the collection with you guys. I only got one person that requested one particular plant, so I'll reach out to you. She wanted a Hoya, the Sarawak Borneo. Now, I don't know if that was a latifolia or if it was a smaller leafed Hoya that you wanted, but I'll reach out to you and we'll kind of discuss exactly the cutting you want and a time frame of when that cutting should be available, unless you want me to just send out a fresh cutting, and kind of where you are in the country. It might depend if we need to wait till spring. I'm not sure. Of course, here in Kauai, it's warm all year. You know, the high today is gonna be 85, just like it was yesterday, just like it will be 6 months from now. So anyway, part of the giveaway was telling me what some of your favorite plants were, and you guys did great. I'm gonna go a little bit further and tell you what my favorite video has been so far, and I'll post it right here. Check it out. It didn't get as much traffic as I thought it would, but the reason I like it is it's the September favorites with my boys, and it has outtakes. I haven't done outtakes before, and I thought they're hilarious. Of course, I made the outtakes, but yeah, check out that video. Tell me what you think about the outtakes. They're pretty funny, but yeah, that's my favorite video for the contest. We'll get into the giveaway now, and what I'll do is I've put everyone into a spreadsheet and I've numbered them, and then I'll do an auto number generator, and I'll have a plant that I'm showing off, and we'll generate the number for that plant out of the list of people. So with that said, let's start with the first plant. Okay, so the first plant we're going to be giving away is the Certasperma johnstonii. So it's still being kept in water. I still would like to wait until it produces a brand new leaf and some more roots, just to ensure that it is going to make the transit. And if you're in a cold area, if you would like to wait and I can continue rooting it and whatnot until spring or until it's a little bit warmer, I'm okay with that. If you want me to ship it out sooner, we can talk about it. One thing to know about Pseudosperma is they do not like cold roots at all. It will kill them. So anything below 60, I've heard, is detrimental to them. So, you know, whoever wins this plant, if I reach out to you and you want this plant, we can definitely wait. That's not a problem. So, that being said, we're going to run the generator. So, at number 11, and number 11 is Bandy Namco. So I will reach out to Bandy Namco. Congratulations on a Pseudosperma johnstonii. These guys are amazing. They get huge. They have this really cool kind of hardcore cat claw spur to the petioles, and so that's what tore these leaves up. But the new leaf that comes out will be pristine, and I will ship it out in utmost care, and I would love it if you could tell me how it gets to you. But it does have a lot of new roots growing. It's doing well. They're super easy to keep them in water at all times and make sure that the water is pretty warm. Nothing below 60 or nothing below 50 really, and a lot of light. The one thing that's kind of cruddy about them is Pseudosperma will lose this red coloring and it turns in kind of an all green leaf. I'll post a picture right here of my most mature leaf, but they get very, very angular, very arrowhead shaped. They're very cool, and they can get up to like 9-12 feet tall. So you're looking at kind of a very small Godzilla plant. But anyway, so congratulations, and let's move on to plant number 2. Okay, so plant number 2 is this Mammillaria gracilis fragilis, also known as Doug Trio, because look at that, they're all sticking up right there. Doug Trio, cool Pokemon, cool Mammillaria, super easy to grow. Fragilis, because this was one plant when I got it, and I think 9 of these little plantlets fell off, and you very well may end up with 3 individual plants when you get this plant kind of rolling around. I doubt they'll be rolling around because I'll pack it pretty well, but yeah, let's move on to who's going to win this one. So here we are, and I will hit the generation button. Number 9. So number 9 is Lalulu. I hope I say that right. I hope people don't mind me using their handles on here, but Lalulu, you won a cool little succulent, little cactus. Congratulations. Also known as thimble cactus, like I said, they don't get very big, but the blooms are gorgeous. I'll post a picture right here of my mother plant that's blooming right now. All right, next we have this cool little succulent. This is Orbeus feinwerthii. I'll post a picture of the flower. It's a very cool flower, and it does not possess a stinky flower like a lot of other succulents. This is a milkweed relative. This is pollinated by fruit flies, and sure enough, when this thing was blooming, there's a lot of fruit flies around the flower. So I thought that was very interesting, but I love the coloring. It's got some very cool ornate patterning to it, and the flower, it's just such a cool flower. Tell me it's not a cool flower. All right, so this person who gets this plant is number 4. Let's see who that is. Number 4 is Yentley Paz 84. I'll reach out to you and we can ship it out. It's going to be shipped out just like this, nice and perfectly ready to be rooted, and it's going to be packed with love. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so these are Hoya cuttings that have been cut for weeks, if not months now, that are well established in water. They've got lots of roots, and we are going to be going with the AH074. Now, out of all the Hoya cuttings I have, AH074 is actually was more difficult to root. It does have quite a few roots, but it only has 2 nodes. But it's ready to rock. The flower, or the leaves on this guy are beautiful. This is AH074 silver, and it does have a lot of silver. So it's a beautiful Hoya, easy to grow. It has clear sap. It's really cool. Really cool Hoya. So that person is number 5, which is Lulu the zombie. So again, I'll be shipping these out in moss, and when I reach out to you, if you guys want to add anything else to the quote-unquote order, or the package, let me know and I'll do my best to fulfill it. I hate to ship just one little plant, one little cutting. So if you want anything else, let me know. I also do woodworking stuff, so I can make pens or whatever the case is. But yeah, we can talk about that when I reach out to you. Okay, so the next one is going to be the Hoya crassipediolata. This is another really cool splashy plant. Unlike the AH074, that has kind of solid silvering, the crassipediolata silver has just a bunch of splashes. It's really pretty. I'll post a picture right here. Very easygoing, super, just like I said, easygoing Hoya. The blooms, like most Hoya, are amazing. But yeah, so that person is 14, which is Daily Pose Mia. So congratulations on a Hoya crassipediolata cutting. Yeah. Now the last Hoya cutting that I have is Pubicalyx, the Royal Hawaiian Purple. I'll post a picture here of the flower. Gorgeous, and it flowers like crazy. Pubicalyx, super hardy, super easy to grow. Amazing. So that Hoya is going to go to number 1, which is Megas Rocky. So Megas Rocky, congratulations on that. And the next 3 Hoya are just random cuttings. I'll cut fresh the day that I ship it out to you. Of course, if you want other cuttings, let me know. That would be awesome. Yeah, so this next random cutting is going to go to number 4, which I think we did already. Is Yentley Paz 84. So congratulations, you get another plant. And the next one is number 7, which is going to be El Jardín La Morenita 5863. Congratulations, that's pretty cool. I think that person reached out to me via YouTube, and so I'll try to reach out to her and see if she can claim the plant. And then the last cutting is going to go to number 1, which is Megas Rocky. So you get two cuttings in your package. Anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for 500 subs, guys. It's been awesome. What a cool, trippy way to show off my collection and my passion for this, the natural world. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the comments. The boys love it. It's kind of cool to get the boys involved into plants, of course, into the natural world, which I can't tell you how much I love that, but also kind of walking with them and into this kind of social environment and kind of feeling our way around that, because it can be kind of tricky, of course. The internet isn't as safe as I would like it to be. But it's been just a super positive experience, this sharing of my collection and whatnot. So I can't wait to keep going upward and onward. And the goal is just to share my plants and my passion, and to kind of bring the community together. I've reached out to everyone that I can to kind of showcase their channels as well, because I believe that it's super helpful and super important to kind of share the knowledge and have everyone just tell you what their tips and tricks are depending on where they live. Now, of course, I live here in beautiful subtropical Hawaii, and there are difficulties like the amount of rain we've had in keeping plants. Of course, we don't have an off season when it comes to growing, which is great and bad, because with not a break in growing season means that we have pests year-round. And I understand a lot of people have pests year-round inside their in-house collections. But like my pepper plants, when I grew them on the mainland, I could count on seasonal rhythms, whereas here it's just all the time. You're always having to plan for the next mealybug infestation, whitefly, whatever the case is. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining. As always, if you guys like it, give a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, because I love reading you guys' comments, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure.